And a quick note to anybody just joining us. Just to let you know, the drive is a little bit delayed this afternoon. Guys are working on a couple of issues they've have to solve, so we'll be out very soon. But we are going to be a bit delayed this afternoon, so I'm going to be here and chatting to everybody, and hopefully we have some animals that come down to drink. It looks like we've got the Egyptian geese back in the water. A little bit difficult to tell for sure. It looks like the Hardy-dot ibis actually on the water's edge now, possibly looking for any small crustaceans or any insects around in the ground. But especially on the water's edge, it will probably be more likely the crustaceans. And thanks for the update on Karula. Thanks, Fruit, saying Karula was a full to the top leopard and not looking very hungry when Jared found her. Nearly lost Kath, apparently. Is that true, Kath? Did we nearly lose you this morning?
We had to do some serious bundy bashing through a rather large bush.
Oh, sure.
That was a bit...
Just in case you can't hear Kath, apparently they had to do quite a lot of bunda bashing through the bush. Shame. It's good to see that you still hung on. I think you guys get quite a good knack to it. And hi to Tina and Sandy, Red. And I'm going to give your name a go to Mira. Hopefully I've got that right. And anybody else that I've missed in the chat room? Oh, and yes, I did forget actually, she had 2 kills. One was a Steenbok, and what was the other one? Was it a Dacre? A Dacre in 2 separate trees. So I definitely want to try and see if I can catch up with her there. And hi to Chimp Jr. and Phil, Tab. Great to see everybody. And going across to JTV, Nordstrom, Dory, Bro, Valen, Cats. And obviously into the Ning chat room as well. Quick hello to Sandra and Helen, Aquila and Anita. So welcome on board, and hopefully it won't be too long before we do head out on drive, but as I say, we are a little bit delayed. The guys are working on a couple of issues, so hopefully we are going to be going out as soon as possible, and as I say, catch up with Karula. Hi Deborah, good afternoon to you. And just wanting to know, how does a leopard choose a den? Does she dig one, take over and abandon one, or does she go on to one she has used in the past? As far as I understand, they do actually use sites that they have used in the past, but it's certainly going to be quite interesting to follow her and see if she does still use the same areas. And I've been digging around, and I'm hoping to at some stage try and see if we can get in touch with Rexon and find out from him where those sites were. But as I say, it's going to be quite an interesting one to actually find out for ourselves, because obviously the leopards, they don't seem to do what the books say that they do, especially in this area. So I'm certainly going to be keeping a close eye on where we see her, if we do see her, and hopefully that'll pinpoint to where she will start having the cubs. But she will move den sites, and I think she will have them in the centre of her territory, because obviously it's less likely to have other females come into that area, especially if it's in the centre of the territory. So definitely I think we are going to be looking around Quarantine, in that drainage line behind Quarantine, maybe even the drainage line at the back here, because that's quite secluded actually. It's very, very difficult to get to, possibly at the back of Chelapan as well. But from what I do understand from Patrick, and I think he understood from Rexon, is that in the drainage line at the back of Quarantine was where she spent a lot of time to begin with. So it'll be very interesting to see if she's around that area a lot. And a quick hello to Lynn, just joining in just in TV there. I'm sure I've said hello to you before, bro. But apologies if this is really your first shout out. And just a quick question about the dam cam. Unfortunately, it's still broken for the time being. Obviously, the technical issues on the Gunda have been taking up Alex's time. Unfortunately, everybody who has a little bit of technical know-how has had a look at it and tried to see if they could do anything about the problem, including Will. But unfortunately, it seems to be a little bit bigger than we thought. But as I said, at the moment, every minute of the day is taken up by trying to get the Gunda and the 3D rig up and running properly and smoothly. And as I say, it is still the problem being nothing has ever been tried like this before. We are actually going on a journey, and as I say, it's an awesome experience, and even for you guys to actually be able to come with us. Because remember, a lot of things that have been produced in the past, it's been done behind closed doors. So someone will work away and go through all the trials and tribulations, and eventually when they get the end product, that's when they bring it out and show everybody, and that's when it works properly. And obviously what we're doing is building a 3D rig that's never been built before, so they're building it from scratch. So they're taking bits and trying to put them together and make sure that they do try and work together at least. And as I say, we're trying something completely new, and you're actually seeing those trials and tribulations, which would normally be put behind closed doors, but obviously we do want to carry on doing safaris for you, so we're kind of learning as we're going as well and tweaking it as we go. So I say it really blows my mind every time I think about what we're actually doing. It really does blow my mind, and the fact that we're able to do this and do it in 3D, and we have been streaming in 3D, so every day we're a step closer to where we need to be, which is absolutely awesome. And just apologies to anybody joining us. We are a bit delayed this afternoon on our live afternoon safari, and I'm going to be entertaining you for a little bit while the guys are still working on a couple of issues on the Gunda, and hopefully we'll be out a little bit later on. And I will try and see if I can catch up with Karula that was seen on Drive in the morning. But a quick one here from Tamara. And just wondering if it was Induna that was sat behind me the other day. And it definitely was quite an interesting drive, to say the least. And unfortunately, I followed Induna thinking he'd finished having a drink. The diary that you've obviously been seeing, or from the archives, and you would have seen, he did actually give me a little bit of a hiss, but it was more, "Hey, you parked on my water, lady, get off." But it wasn't really aggressive. He wasn't going to jump at the vehicle or anything like that. To begin with, I thought he was actually sniffing the wheel. And at that point, I thought, okay, he's more interested in the vehicle than anything. And at that point, I was actually going to reverse back, because obviously we don't want them to be so interested in the vehicle that it starts breaking that respect barrier, if you like. So I thought, well, I'll start to move. But then Herman said, no, hold on, he's actually just trying to drink. And there was actually quite a lot of the puddle that was still there. So I thought, well, I don't want to scare him by turning on the ignition. And I thought, well, okay, if he's just trying to get a drink, then there is still some area where he can drink. So I'll just leave him, and he should settle down. Because as I say, he wasn't being aggressive. It was just that hiss to say, hey, you know, you're on my drink here. But as I say, when he kind of went, oh, okay, I'll just try somewhere else, and he went to the back of the puddle. And he was able to get some water from there. So that's how it actually came about, and it was up to him. He came to us. If I was to try and get as close to him as he got to us, we would find a very, very different Induna. He would have ran off. He wouldn't have been happy at all. But the pure fact is, it was his decision to come to us. He walked right down the side of the vehicle, and then it was his decision to sit at the back. And when Herman peered over again, he kind of hissed a little bit at him, because he's like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you looking at me? Why are you moving? But towards the end, as I say, I was communicating with him as well. I was obviously talking to him, and he was so relaxed. He actually rolled onto his side. He exposed his belly, which is a sign that he is very relaxed. And I was also using the eye contact, not looking directly at him. That is a sign of aggression, looking straight into the eyes of the cat. But I just squinted my eyes a little bit and looked past him, and he was actually doing the same to me, and he kind of squinted his eyes and looked away, and that says, hey, Marcus. And when he left, because there was a second vehicle that came in, and that scared him out of the tree, he ran off, and that's when they spotted Induna coming back to the tree. So we still don't know if Induna has had a kill previously and he's still full from that kill, or if that he made the kill that was in the tree and Jambili Jordan chased him off and had his fill and got chased off by the second vehicle. So it's quite a difficult one. We still don't know. It could have been Induna making that kill, but it could have been Jambili Jordan, and Induna just happened to be in the area and getting an extra meal, so to speak. So it was 2 days ago, Tamira. Induna was actually sat behind me. It's the same day as when he caught the frog. So if you check the diary, excuse me, it's a couple of diaries ago now, but sorry, it was today, the diary that came out today. So it was the day before that it happened. Excuse me. But yeah, as I say, if you want to have a look at the diary and see how close he did get to us. But as I say, he ended up being a very relaxed cat, and I had full confidence he wasn't going to jump on the vehicle. He didn't have any aggression. It was just that couple of hisses just to say, hey, what are you doing? Just like Mishu did when Mark sat right on top of Mishu's food without realising it. As I say, I didn't realise how close to the puddle I was, because I was trying to keep a look of where he was going. And as I say, if he had have looked like, which is originally what I thought when he was sniffing the tyre, and I thought, okay, if he is more interested in the vehicle, then I do need to stop that behaviour and make sure that he knows that he shouldn't cross that barrier. But the fact that he was actually just looking for the water changed everything, and there was no need for me to actually pull back in that sense and give him a startle. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, it was funny actually. I should have actually mentioned when he was trying to eat the frog. I think he spat it out. He did catch a frog, and it looked like he did try and eat it, but I think he did spit it out because he kind of had that, he didn't like the taste of it. So I think he did spit it out. I'm not convinced that he actually ate it. And it was funny because obviously it happening, and at the time it didn't even register, but when I looked at the footage again, it was like, oh, actually no, it looked like he did spit it out. But I was so caught up in the moment of what was going on, it didn't even register at that point. And just to let anybody know who's just joined us, unfortunately we are a little bit delayed on the drive this afternoon. I'm hoping we should be out very shortly, but I'm here. And if anybody does want to ask any questions, do feel free to send them in. It's always good to get questions. For those of you who are not too sure what the email address is, send them through to finalcontrol@safari.tv. You can talk about anything you want. You can ask questions about what you've seen on the drives in the last couple of days, or any of the sightings that I've been on, or even any of the sightings the guys have been on. I'm not too sure if I'll be able to help too much there, but hopefully you will be able to ask any questions that you'd like to. And what I'm going to do is just put the sound up on the waterhole and just see if there's any bird calls. And what I'm going to do is let you guys try and identify them. Usually I tell you how to identify them and the phrases, so I think today we'll see if we can get you guys identifying some of the bird calls. And if that doesn't work, I have another trick up my sleeve. So as I say, anybody wanting to send any questions through, please feel free. And what I'm going to do is just put the sound up for a little while, and I do have another question coming through at this point in time. Okay, there was one very loud bird there calling, a little bit windy, but I wonder if you guys can identify that bird. Very common bird around the waterhole and also here in camp at the moment, but I'm not going to give it away too much, so I'll see who comes back with the right answer. And the bird on the left is not the bird that's making the call, and that is a hardy-dar ibis who's probing for any crustaceans or any insects along the water's edge there at the moment. You can see him actually putting his head close to the soil or the clay mud that's there, and as I say, using that very long bill to probe for any insects or crustaceans. And hi to Lacey and Binky, Stars, Dolly, Big Dave, and everybody else who's just joining. Unfortunately, we do have a slight delay on the game drive this afternoon, so I am here to entertain you guys until we are able to go out. There's just a couple of issues everybody is working on the Gunda, so hopefully they are going to be able to sort them out very soon. But hopefully we will be out, as I say, very, very shortly. And I will try and catch up with Karula, who was seen this morning on the 2 kills. There was a Dacre and a Steenbok seen just off of Hyena Road, apparently about 200 metres into the bush. And apparently Kath nearly fell off the back of the Gunda when they went off-roading trying to get to the kill. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to lose Herman, but we'll see. Okay, no one's come through with the bird that was calling a little bit before. I was hoping to try and get it on sounds again, but looks like it's not going to help me out. And just a quick question from Sandy, wondering what's on the left of the dam. The birds are standing on it. People are saying it's a hippo, but it's not moving. I was also looking at it. I think it is possibly a hippo. I think there was possibly a hammerkop landing on it earlier, but it's probably just sunbathing, and that's why it's not moving at the moment. Oh, sorry, Big Dave. I missed part of the chat there. I was in looking at the questions. Let me just see if I can try and scroll back a little bit. Oh, no, I'm still having problems with the scrolling, as you guys are as well. I think, Big Dave, you might have to give your answer again. But for those Egyptian geese, not quite. They're a little bit smaller than Egyptian geese, and they do make a lot of noise, especially when they're sitting right on top of the microphone. But unfortunately, just to let everybody who's just joined, I see there's a couple of other people. Oh, hi, Caddy. I did see you a bit earlier. And Lion Eyes. I thought there was a couple of other people. I just missed you. But just to let you guys know, unfortunately, we are slightly delayed this afternoon. There's a couple of issues that the guys need to resolve on the Gunda, but I'm hoping that they are getting everything fixed, and hopefully we should be out very, very shortly. And so I'm going to try and see if I can catch up with Karula and her kills and see if she's still around there. Keep your fingers crossed. It's been a while since I've seen Karula, and so it would be quite interesting to see how she's doing. And Fruit saying oxpecker, and oxpeckers do sound like a box of matches rattling. And sorry to everybody in JTV, I seem to have been kicked off of JTV at the moment. Let's see if I can get back in there in a short while. Hi, Flora. swapping between us and the Belgian Grand Prix. Now there's a combination. And here's a question from Robin in the UK. Hi Robin, great to have you with us this afternoon. And can I tell you if Karula is pregnant, and in the later stages of her pregnancy will it affect her hunting skills such as speed and agility? And that's one of the reasons why the predators tend to give birth to altricial young that is not able to move around much, who are usually blind and helpless. And that's one of the reasons why they do give birth to underdeveloped young, if you like to put it that way. Because obviously if they had to grow a little bit more and they had to be in the womb a lot more, then it certainly would slow them down, because obviously it's going to be a lot more extra weight. So they rather give birth to slightly underdeveloped young, where they can stash them away, and obviously that's not going to interfere with them catching any of the prey. And also if they are catching prey, obviously going to be knocking and getting into a few problems there. So also to avoid any damage to their cubs while they're still in the womb, then as I say, they give birth to these helpless little bundles of blind fur, and obviously in a few days they'll start to open their eyes. I think it's after about 6 days or so. And again, it'll take her about 6 to 8 weeks before she will actually show any cubs off, that if she does have them. There's no real way of telling if she has fallen pregnant. Obviously we have seen her a couple of times, 2 consecutive nights with Yambili Ordan, and he was in the area with her. He was seen with her a couple of days before, and as I say, we did see them mating a couple of times. So the chances are very, very high that she has fallen pregnant, but we won't really notice anything. You might just see a little bit of swelling just before she's ready to give birth, maybe a couple of weeks, if that, before she's ready to give birth, but it's not really that noticeable. And obviously if she is going to give birth, I think she's going to become very, very secretive. But it's definitely something to watch out for. And if we do see her, maybe just a darkening underneath the eyes and the swelling around the nipples will obviously give it away. And sometimes you can actually see little drops of milk where the fur has actually been wetted, so we definitely have to look out for that as well. Okay, just another bird in the background there, and I'll let you guys try and figure that one out as well. And I'm still waiting for the first call, and I'll try and put you out of your misery in just a few short moments. Okay, and unfortunately Big Dave, not right with the guinea fowl on the second call. You said the Egyptian goose before, and that was what it was, that loud call. And I've actually got a sound here. I've actually got the bird calls. So I'm going to see if I can actually play the Egyptian goose for you, seeing as it's gone quiet now. So let's give it a go. So hopefully that's coming through. And that was the Egyptian goose that was calling a little bit earlier. But I'm still waiting for the right answer on the first bird. We have one of the buffaloes coming into view with the red-billed oxpeckers on the back. And remember, they're the ones that make the sound that sounds like a box of matches rattling. Okay, so I found the sound for the first bird. So I'm going to see if I can play it and see if you guys hopefully can hear it. If you can't hear it, please let me know. But we'll see how we go with this one. So this was the first bird that I was trying to get you guys to identify. And with the full call, let's see how we go. It looks like a hammercop has just landed as well. Close, David. Very, very close. It is the starling, but it's the Burchell starling. That's the Burchells that we hear very, very often. And at the moment, they've actually been displaying. I saw them around camp just a couple of days ago, and throwing their head back and flicking their wings out. It was actually quite a beautiful display. I've never seen them do that before, so that was really nice. And just hello to everybody joining. Hi Penny, hi Animal Lady, and Lan, Buster, Debbers. I think I might have missed you a little bit earlier. But just a quick update for everybody. Unfortunately, we are a little bit delayed for the drive this afternoon. We are hoping to go out a little bit later, but the guys are just trying to resolve a couple of issues on the Gunda with the equipment, so it's not actually the Gunda itself. But we are hoping to resolve those issues and hopefully get on drive in a very short while. So keep your fingers crossed everything goes well. And it is looking like it shouldn't be too much longer, but hopefully we can carry on enjoying the bird life around by the dam and the odd buffalo walking past. And there goes the hammercop flying off to the right. And we still have the Hardy-Dar ibis who's probing for any crustaceans on the water's edge there. And I think there must be a hippo. It could even be a buffalo just sitting off the edge of the view there of the dam cam. And as I say, even if it hasn't moved, they can sit there for hours and just sunbathe, including the hippo this time of year. It's very normal to find hippo out of water during the day and enjoying the warmth from the sun. And I've got to say a very big howdy, y'all. Hopefully my accent's getting better. And that's to Rose. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Sorry, Roz. I think that's how you say your name. Sandy saying it looks dead, it hasn't moved in 2 hours. Well, normally I think you'd be right, but as I say, they do seem to enjoy relaxing, and I have seen them sit in the same position for quite a number of hours. If I run out and have a look, it's going to take me about 10 minutes to get down there, so I'm not going to be able to be in 2 places at once and entertain you guys. So we'll see if we can try and drive past, because we have to go that way to get to Hyena Road, so we'll drive past and see if the animal is still there, but I'm pretty sure it's a buffalo or a hippo. Thanks, Lan. You'll watch me run. I'm sure you will. I wonder if anybody remembers my very first drive that ended up being a walk, and the hippo actually warned me that there was buffalo walking down to the dam. That was quite an interesting day. We do have a few questions coming in. So just to get back to Marlene, wondering if the 3 leopards at this point are not still operating as a family, although apart most of the time, and you're saying about the exploded pride theory, and Yambili Odan and Induna with the kill, and obviously Karula with 2 kills this morning. And do I think the 2 parents are still maybe feeding the rather inept son? Shame. I'm hoping he's not as bad as what we think he is. And remember, he was very agile catching the guinea fowl, and I think that took quite a lot of skill in what he was doing that night. So I think he might be tricking us, and remember, we're not seeing him as much as his brother, so I'm actually wondering if he has been successful, but we've just not been seeing it. I do wonder, and obviously with his full belly, it's very, very difficult to say, and for everyone who just joined us, it's very, very difficult to say whether it was Yambili that made the kill or whether it was still Induna, because Induna, according to Graham, when he arrived at the sighting, Yambili Odan was on the carcass in the tree. He was busy eating, and when the second vehicle came, that's when he got scared and he ran off, and that's when they saw Induna come towards the tree, and apparently he'd already looked like he had quite a full belly. So whether he had already made a kill previously of something else and had eaten, and he was actually just going to get an extra bit of food, or whether he'd made the kill and Yambili Odan chased him off it, and he then obviously got scared away by the second vehicle coming in, which meant that Induna could go back to his kill. We're not too sure, and I don't think we'll ever know for sure. As I say, Graham was the first on the scene. He did release a blog about that, and that's basically outlining what I've just said about the circumstance that he found them in. So we actually don't know if he did make the kill or not, or whether it was Yambili Odan. And as I say, I do have confidence that he is able to catch his food. There's no reason why he can't be. Even the shortened tail won't really be a hindrance for him. And as I say, I think he is capable of it, and I think there we go. You see, it's moved. On the left hand of the screen, I've just noticed the animal is no longer there. I think it's going to move off your screen very shortly. There we go. Let's move back again now. It's still very difficult to say for sure what it is, but I think it is a hippo. And Animal Lady just wanting to know, does his tail look like it's been healing? And when I did look at it, it did look a lot better, a lot cleaner. Well, I'll say a lot cleaner. It didn't look as pink as what I've seen it. It looks like it is healing over. So I am hoping that it is going to heal. And as I say, nature has a funny way of sorting things out like that. So I think I personally think he's going to be okay, but obviously we'll just have to keep watching him and seeing how he is doing. Okay, we've got a couple more questions coming in here. And asking about the night drives, this is Shelley. Are we going to have any more night drives, or will they be done? Is there something else going on? And I think someone was also asking about the 2 vehicles the other day, which I didn't get a chance to answer. And for the time being, as I say, we're just busy trying to make sure that the 3D rig is fully operational. So we are hoping that that's all going to come right soon. There we go, we have our hippo moving. 2 hippos scaring off the grey heron that's just come into view. So there you go, it's alive. But as I say, it's at the moment we're just making sure that the 3D rig's up and working, and that's obviously taking quite a lot of time. And we are hoping at some stage we are going to have the 2 vehicles, so that's going to be putting quite a lot of strain on the team. So I don't think we're going to be able to run night drives. But as I say, everything's changing, and it could all change again. But we'll have to just wait and see, unfortunately, on the night drives and how we stand with those. And just going on what we have got on the 3rd of September, I have got a special guest coming in to have a fireside chat with me, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope you guys can join us, and it's going to be all about vultures. I've got Dr. Patrick Benson joining us, and he is going to tell me a little bit, and you guys a little bit about what he does. And he's been doing a lot of research on vultures here in South Africa as well as in Asia. And I'm really looking forward to actually chatting to him about all that and why we have to conserve the vultures. Because sadly vultures are becoming endangered, and they have actually been used for muti, which is medicines, especially in this country, and I think in Asia as well. So they unfortunately they haven't had an easy ride of it in recent years, and they do have a very important role to play. They help to clear up the carcasses and obviously release nutrients into the ecosystem. So they do have a very important role to play. And a quick hello to Vivian. I'm glad to see you enjoying the entertainment this afternoon. And I'm wondering if this heron is going to catch a frog again. This heron, I wonder if it's still the same heron that likes to go for a swim, thinks he's a swan. Again, very, very strange behaviour from a heron, but it works for him. He seems to be able to get the frogs. And if you notice, both the heron and the hammerkop will actually shake the frog, and they'll actually throw the slime that covers, and generally the platanas that they're eating, and they have a very thick layer of slime, and it is toxic, so they make sure that they get that off before they eat the frog. And I say it's quite funny to watch them. And I remember sitting with, I think it was about 4 rhino, and all my guests were watching the hammerkop, which was sat on the opposite side of the vehicle, and we're all sat watching this hammerkop trying to get rid of all the slime off the frog rather than watching the 4 rhino. It's actually quite amusing. I wish I had a camera. I wonder if I don't know if you just saw that stabbing motion, and that's obviously how herons do operate. They do catch the fish and the frogs like that. They'll stand motionless for hours on end, letting the fish or the frogs get used to them being there. And then with that long pointed bill, they'll use it as a stabbing weapon to spear the fish or to spear the frog or catch the frog. And that is how they operate. And there's actually a little egret. It's actually called a little egret. And the little egret actually has yellow toes, and it wiggles its toes as if it's worms for fish to eat. Okay, there is the Birchall starling again calling. And just to give you a difference, well, I've got a Battalier flying right over final control and vultures circling. Wonder where the kill is. Actually, no, it is. The Battalier is gone, and it's just vultures at the moment. There's about 5 of them, all flying over Gallego shortcut. Have to see if they come down or whether they're actually just circling to get some height, but it looks like they are actually descending, so I do wonder if there's something that's been caught. But for now, as I say, just to let everybody know, unfortunately we are a little bit delayed on the game drive. We are hoping to go out in a short while. The guys are working on a couple of issues on the equipment that they've just got to sort out, and hopefully we'll be out very, very soon. Not a buffalo flying over. I didn't have any drinks today. But maybe a flying pig on occasion, but I haven't seen the buffaloes just yet. A Battalier is what I thought was flying over, but it's actually the vultures. And they have moved off. They've moved off in a northerly direction by the looks of it. So I'm wondering if maybe one of them has spotted Karula's kill. We definitely will have to go and have a look when we do get out on drive for sure. Okay, so I just want to play you this sound because I think it was Penny sending through. With the lack of rain, you saw a couple of Cape glossy starlings in your garden, and Penny lives down in Durban. So, I want to just play you this sound, which is the Cape glossy starling, which is slightly different. I think it's slightly higher pitched and a little bit more musical compared to the Birchall starling. So listen to this. So there's the Cape glossy starling, the different call for you. And Deborah's just wanting to know where Gallego, I think you're saying cut line, but it's Gallego shortcut, so I don't know if there is another Gallego cut line. Could be further north if there is, but Gallego shortcut is the road that runs, if you go from Voyatella access, if you go literally out of our camp, you turn right, that's Voyatella access, and it's the first road off to the right, which is Gallego shortcut. And I'm finally back into JTV. Hi to Cape Town, haven't seen you for a while, and Rib, Med Bistro, Rib asking if this is live, and it's live from South Africa, and we do broadcast live 24 hours a day, and we do have the webcam on during or in between game drives, and we do go out on a game drive. We should usually be going out at 3 o'clock Central Africa time, so we should be on drive now, but unfortunately we are a little bit delayed this afternoon. There's a couple of technical issues that they're sorting out, and hopefully once that's sorted we will be out on drive as soon as possible. So we are going to try and go out and see if we can catch up with Karula, who was left this morning with 2 kills. It was a Steenbok and a Dacre, about 200 meters west, I believe, of Hyena Road. So I'm hoping that we are going to be able to catch up with her. And just going back to, I've just suddenly realised, remember reading out Marlene's question, but I didn't actually discuss it. And it's a very difficult one to really say for sure what's going on. The exploded pride theory kind of puts it as that maybe the leopards aren't as solitary as what we think. And especially in this area we have a lot of overlapping, especially of daughters. And it's possible that the females especially are allowed to stay close to or in the same area as the mother, and they kind of support each other, because obviously it's for the genetics, it's helping their offspring and obviously helping them to continue on. And it's quite possible, I think, maybe in this area. And what the beauty of nature is, it's even though there's one thing that can be for that animal in a particular area, they can follow those rules, if you like, or they can be studied, and what is true for that animal in that area is very true for that animal. But as soon as you take that animal out of the area and it's in a different area, different scenario, maybe different leopards, different animals, the whole situation can be different, and so you do get different behavior. And this is possibly what we are seeing from the leopards within Sabi Sands. It might not be true for all leopards, and especially where leopards are not as in higher numbers as they are here. Then I think they are a lot more solitary, and obviously the offspring can afford to go off and find larger territories, or they can afford to go off and at least disperse. And this obviously reduces the chance of inbreeding. So that's what the whole reason for dispersal is to stop this inbreeding actually happening. But here in the Sabi Sands, there's a very high prey density, so they can have smaller territories, and they overlap a lot more as well. And that's possibly why we might be seeing what they're calling the exploded pride theory, with the daughters kind of staying in the area and maybe even helping each other out. It's difficult to say. It'd be nice, as I say, that's why I do want to go back to where Karula had her 2 kills in separate trees apparently, and it'd be nice to see if maybe one of the boys is eating from those kills. And that's why I'm very interested in actually trying to go back and see if we can find, it's about 200 meters into the bush. I'm hoping we're going to be able to follow the tracks in, but hoping we can find where she was left this morning and see what's actually been happening there. And obviously Yambili Yordan in the area, obviously he's got an invested interest with maybe helping the boys. Who knows, maybe they were even hunting together in Induna and Yordan, but I think with the lack of Induna actually being in the tree with Yambili Yordan, I think he did actually keep his distance from his father there. So I don't know if Yordan, if he did make the kill, I don't think he intentionally would have let Induna eat from the kill, because I think if that happened, if there was an intention there, I think we would have had both leopards in the tree. But as I say, it's so difficult to say without actually seeing what's going on, only coming in halfway through a story. It's very difficult, and we can only really speculate. But as I say, I would be surprised, but everything is possible here. Anything is possible. Expect the unexpected. So never say never, I think. And quite an interesting question here from Nordstrom, and wanting to know, well, with domestic cats you have various coloured eyes, some have blue, some have brown. How about leopards and birds? Do they also have various coloured eyes? Birds, yes. Birds, you can have various colours. Obviously with the drongo you've got red, you've got, that's one of the ways you can actually tell the drongo from the flycatcher. The flycatcher's actually got a black eye. So you can get different coloured eyes, red eyes, blue eyes, white eyes, all sorts of different coloured eyes in the birds. And leopards, I've only seen yellow, and I remember White Cloth seeing her eyes. She did look like she had very, very pale blue eyes, and obviously when leopards are first born they have blue eyes. But as I say, when I got closer they didn't look as blue as I thought they were, so I don't know if it was just the way I was looking, but they didn't look yellow. But that's the only 2 variations that I've seen in the leopards here. Okay, who's handing out the marula beer in JTV? I get it made actually. I've tried marula beer, and the lady that made it was actually quite a nice batch, but she added a lot of sugar, and it wasn't as sharp as I thought it was going to be. But if you have a lot of sugar, it does make it a lot nicer. Hi Valerie. Good to see you in chat again. And these dogs. Hello to you at the moment. And who else is in there? Midge, Who else have I not said hello to? So apologies if I haven't said hello to people. And Tom, looking like, I think you're Spanish. And Kit, Big John, and Willie. Banana beer. I've never tried banana beer fruit. Ah, JJ, hi. Sorry I missed you. And Card, I don't know if I've said hello to you yet or not. And again, just for those of you who are just joining us and wondering what on earth is going on, unfortunately, at the moment we have got a bit of a delay on the drive. There is a slight issue that the guys are trying to resolve, so we're hoping that it's not going to be too much longer. I'm itching to get out there and try and see if we can catch up with Karula and the kills that she had this morning, and see what's going on in the way of where the boys are. Maybe they've come to have a share of their kill. And this actually leads me into a question from Gerard from Chicago. And do leopards share the kill, or will she chase them away now? And as I say, before I would have said no, she probably would chase them away, but as I say, it's a very difficult one, and it could be that she will allow him to eat. Obviously, with him being her own offspring, you know, she does have an invested interest there, and could be quite possible that she does allow him to eat. And as I say, the reason why the females would actually start chasing their sons especially away is obviously to stop the inbreeding, and that's why they have this aggression. They start having this aggression towards them. But as I was just saying, in the Sabi Sands, with the high level of leopards and the high amount of prey, it's incredible what's going on here. It really is. And as I say, very, very interesting to actually be a part of this and actually be able to try and follow it as much as possible. So it could be she does allow him to eat, but I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't. And as I say, I wouldn't be surprised if she does start to be aggressive towards them, to start pushing them away so that there's no inbreeding going on between her and her sons. But anything is possible. And do leopards share the kills? Especially if they're cubs, then the female will share with the cubs. We have seen 4 leopards on a kill here. And again, if you'd have asked me that question before I came here, I'd have said no, leopards will not share the kill. But we have had Yambili Ordan, who is the father, on the same kill as the 2 boys and the mother. Okay, we've got a few questions coming in. If anybody does want to send any more questions through, then all you need to do is send them through to finalcontrol@safari.tv, and I'll do my best to answer them. And at the moment we're just talking about the leopards, because I was just filling everybody in on what was happening with the leopards in the last couple of days. And hi to Sarsaparilla, I haven't seen you for a while. Just had to have a quick check in JTV there. But, hope everybody is well and enjoying the afternoon, Sunday afternoon. And it's actually a pleasant temperature out here at the moment. We're definitely seeing an increase in the temperatures. And I've been running around in shorts and a shirt, which is definitely summer clothing out here in South Africa, as well as across the world, I suppose. But I'm definitely enjoying the warmth, believe me. And quite an interesting question from Deborah. Obviously we do have, if anybody wants to get the map of where we traverse, then we do have a map, and you just need to go to wildearth.ning.com, and you just go to resources, there's a pull down menu there for the area, or where you can find the map on that pull down menu, and that's the area that we traverse in, about 1,000 hectares. The entire Sabi Sands Game Reserve, I have seen one. I'm not too sure where the link is at the moment, but if you maybe put in the Sabi Sands into the search engine, you might be able to find a map there. Or if someone does have a link that they may be able to share in the chat room, that might be great as well. And it looks like there's some impala on the opposite side of the bank there that was just being disturbed by the game drive vehicle going over Gary Dam Wall, just in the top right corner of the screen now. Thanks, Mr. K. Enjoying the chat. I'd say it's nice actually sometimes just to come in and chat to everybody. We actually get a chance to interact with you almost on a one-to-one basis. But Tina wanting to know what Ning is. It's the Other Wild Earth website, and if you put that address in, the wildearth.ning.com, and you'll find there's information about the animals that you'll see on Game Drive as well, so it gives you a bit of background. There's databases on the lions, on the leopards, and some lists of the birds that have been seen, some lists of the animals as well. So it's quite a nice site to have a look at and have some more background knowledge about the animals. And hi Mosby, welcome on board this afternoon. Hi Sandy, and someone just asking if the drive starts late, why can we not stay out a little bit longer? And as I say, we have been trying. It just depends on what's out there as well. So we do try and see if we can extend it a little bit, but at the moment we have been wanting to get the vehicle back so we can carry on working on it. But as I say, where we can, we do try and stay out a little bit longer. But sometimes it's just not possible. And if there isn't anything to stay with as well, as I say, we'd rather get the vehicle back and try and carry on working on it. That's quite interesting. I haven't seen the footage from this morning. Thanks, Marlene. And saying that Karula was actually calling out to somebody. So I do wonder if she was actually calling one of the boys in. You never know. Maybe she did see somebody. But I haven't seen the footage, so I'm not too sure entirely what was going on there. There's some of you asking about the frog that you're obviously seeing on the diary. Did it survive or not? I'm not too sure actually, but he certainly looked like he didn't enjoy the taste, and as I say, kind of looked like he spat it out. I don't think he did eat it completely. And also, just a couple of people saying about me squinting my eyes at Induna. Excuse me. And just for those of the people that have only just arrived, we had Induna very close to the vehicle. And as I say, when a leopard is that close and he's actually on his side and showing his belly to you, that definitely means that he's very relaxed. And if you squint your eyes at a cat, if you think about your pet cat at home, if you squint your eyes at the pet cat and look just slightly off to one side, don't look straight in the eye, what you'll find is the cat squints back and looks away, and that's actually a sign that they're quite happy with you and they're relaxed around you. Hi everybody, this is Tara in Final Control, and just for everybody that's just joining, we are a little bit delayed on drive. We are hoping to be going out on drive very shortly. So the guys have just been sorting out a couple of issues on the Gunda. So I'm going to head out and try and do a quick test, so hopefully keep your fingers crossed. We're going to be heading out, and I'll see if we can catch up with Karula and her kills, and I'll talk a little bit more about that hopefully when I'm on drive. So I shall hopefully see you guys out there.
trigger the countdown.
Powering up.
Standing by for an altitude. 60 looking good. Sound is good. Stand by for the countdown.
Copying you 5-5.
5,